Welcome back to Advent of Code 2023 versus ChatGPT, and in this video we will be covering day 5. So I've already solved the day 5 puzzles, and I will take them one by one, and we'll see if ChatGPT will be able to figure out the correct solution to both puzzles. So let's create one. Let me close this one. And let's do, please solve the following problem. Input file is attached. So I will attach my input file. Where did I save it? Input.txt, this is the one. And let's run this. So ChatGPT is now analyzing the input data as usual. So it understands the structure of the input. So it's going to first parse the mapping, process the input. Now parses each of the maps. So that makes sense. We have different groups, different mappings that it needs to be mapping. And now it's going to verify stuff. So it's probably just verifying it understands the input data and it can parse them correctly, and it didn't. There was some error. Yeah, okay, so it noticed that the numbers are larger than integers, so it will probably update to larger numbers. Even though it doesn't seem so, actually, it still uses integers. Interesting. Oh, it worked this time, so that's good. So now it's analyzing, finding the lowest location, and it seems that this number is actually correct. So it has solved the first part of the puzzle. Congratulations. So a little pep talk, and now can you solve the following advanced version? And so part 2. So this is definitely more tricky because it cannot now calculate the ranges just simply by, yes, the large number of seeds is going to generate it, so it's very inefficient. Yes, that's really interesting. So it will optimize the approach by using the seed ranges without fully expanding them into individual seeds. So that's what we did in the C# solution, essentially. The code seems to be kind of simple. We'll see if that's enough. So I think it's seed ranges. No, it seems it's still going through all the individual numbers, which is very inefficient. So it's probably just gonna freeze or time out. This is not what we need here. So it needs to figure out a better solution, but I'm not sure that's gonna happen because it's gonna, yes, exactly. minimizes the number of conversions. Yeah, that might be interesting. Minimum and maximum values for each map. Not completely sure if this is enough. It is just using the min and max value, even though each of the ranges can break down into multiple different smaller ranges, and that might not be enough to solve the problem correctly. In addition, still seems to be processing the whole thing, like the whole range. So that doesn't seem too efficient. But it's still calculating, so I will let it. I am not completely surprised, because the second part of today's puzzle is definitely much more complicated than the first one. And it did time out, so I guess what we can do is just hint it. So I gave it a big hint. We'll see if that's enough, or it will still not be able to solve it. Yes, propagate ranges through the maps. This could be better. Oh yeah, so it's now doing the overlaps, the same thing that I was doing in the C# code, in a very similar manner, I would say. And let's see if this works. All right, pretty promising, I think. So this is the result, and that's not correct. So there must be some wrong calculation there, because the result is much bigger. Result is too. Is it right? It's yes. Too high. Too big number. Should be much less. So there must be some mistake that the ChatGPT calculation did. But the logic itself is sound. It makes sense, and it's very close to what I was doing in C#. So I think this, if it found the bug in the code, it would be the right approach, and that one that would yield the correct solution. I'm afraid now it got stuck again. Why? Seed ranges. So it's still calculating, but it seems that it got stuck again. So it seems that the second part of today's puzzle will not be something that ChatGPT will be able to solve. I already gave it a big hint, and it went very close to the solution, I think. This seems very, very similar to what I was what my code looked like. But there must be some kind of bug inside of the code that makes it return this huge number instead of 100 million something. So now it found out that the approach is taking too long. So one more attempt here. But even if this doesn't work, even the fact that it solved the first part of the puzzle without any input and without any hints is kind of amazing, I think. It still did a huge computational task of figuring out the correct solution. And what is this? Okay, so it did figure out the correct solution in the end. I had to give it a bigger hint, but this is the correct solution. So it fixed its bug and now the result is correct, and it did solve the second part of the puzzle as well. So I would say this is a partial win because I had to give it the big hint, but it still worked out in the end. So if the person who would give it this task would have the solution thought out, it would be possible to let ChatGPT write the solution, and after 2 tries it would give you the right result. So that's pretty nice. Anyways, thank you for joining for day 5, and I will be back tomorrow with day 6 videos, and we will see how tomorrow is going to be for both me and for ChatGPT. So thank you again, and keep coding.